Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. This is the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. We show you the match and rundown cards and what's going to happen tonight. Well, tonight we saw that the Op, Samoa Joe, Brody Lee, Samoa Joe, Brody King, Bandino, a huge 10-man, $500,000 match. Young Bucks, the Death Riders, teaming up in a 10-man tag team match. We'll talk about that coming up as well. Also, too, Heyman Page, the world champion, taking on Josh Alexander. Heyman got something to prove against Josh Alexander, and what Josh Alexander probably softened up the blow for Heyman. This was Josh Alexander's friend. Kyle Fletcher. Yeah. Coming up with Kyle Fletcher. When Kyle Fletcher get his coming up, we'll talk about that with Kyle Fletcher. What he had going on with Heyman Page, the world champion, that coming up well. You know that Ricochet in action. Ricochet taking on Shelton Benjamin. These two were vets. Go one-on-one. Ricochet going against Shelton Benjamin. Ricochet Benjamin and Shelton Benjamin lead. They kind of equal out, but we'll talk about it coming up. And I'll tell you what I think coming up here. Also, too, in a tag team match as well, Mercedes Moné, the TBS champion, teamed up with Emi Sakura to take on Alex Vinson and Mercedes Moné's opponent at All Out. Riho is back. Even though more women's action as well. As the women's world champion, Toni Storm, goes one-on-one against Sky Blue. You'll see that match in a Philadelphia street fight. And you won't believe what Toni Storm was challenging. He was challenging somebody that you kind of may remember, may know around. We'll talk about it coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started. The AEW Dynamite Ring Report right here, right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host, as always, Kendrick Dix here. Glad you join us in the Pro Wrestling Show. Join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a here on the Pro Wrestling Show. All right, let's get things started right here, right now. We normally like to not waste my time. You can see Bryan Danielson right there, green fan. As you may recall, Bryan Danielson joining the Dynamite commentary team. Danielson now part of the Dynamite commentary team. And Danielson showing that he's part of the Dynamite commentary team. One word from how Danielson being welcomed tonight as he replaced Tony Schiavone. I guess Tony Schiavone is going to be doing Collision heading forward Saturday nights. Speaking of that, Heyman Page, the world champion. You see right there, Heyman holding the AEW title around his waist, walking with a purpose, walking with a mission. And Heyman Page wanted to know what's Kyle Fletcher's agenda. And Heyman did want to know what Fletcher's agenda was. Fletcher coming out there as the TNT champion. Fletcher could be one day a future world champion. And the challenge was made and set. Kyle Fletcher issued the challenge, and the challenge was accepted by Heyman. And it's going to happen between these two men right here for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And Kyle Fletcher, in his young career, win AEW gold nearly in 2 weeks. Can he become the AEW champion? This is Kyle Fletcher's moment. Kyle Fletcher will get an opportunity to fight for the AEW title, and he'll do so at All Out for the championship. And Kyle Fletcher looking forward to it. I think Kyle Fletcher wants to bring some gold into the Don Callis family. We kind of know that Kyle Fletcher will one day become a world champion. This might not be Kyle Fletcher's moment, but Kyle Fletcher making the best of it. So Kyle Fletcher seeking the benefits of it. That what's going on? Well, speaking of Heyman went against Fletcher's teammates in the Don Callis family. You can tell right here, Fletcher Heyman went against a former world champion in TNA, the former TNA champion Josh Alexander. And Heyman Page gave Josh Alexander a run for their money. A grudge match right here that was announced. And you can tell right here, Heyman Page won the grudge match by doing what he does best, being gritty, being a phenomenal world champion. But he turns his attention, turns his sights on Kyle Fletcher. Fletcher will challenge Heyman Page for the World Heavyweight Championship. That should be a good match right there. Now, all out, that could be considered, could be the main event of the card. We'll see on how that's going to go. Well, we get to another match that everyone's been talking about and buzzing about. Where this match right here, a tag team match, as Mercedes Moné teamed up with Emmy Sakuma to take on Riho and Alice Windsor. Mercedes Moné looks like she's been had a lot of women um beneath her. Well, we saw Riho, and the rest of them came out there, and Riho and Emmy, the Riho and Alice Windsor won. Riho looking for her attention to focus on becoming the TBS champion. Riho, former AEW women. Well, is it Riho time or this is Riho moment? We will have to wait and see if Riho can do it by winning the championship once again and all out. We'll see if that's gonna be the case. But Riho using that the sharpshooter to get the 1, 2, 3, and you tell Riho right here and laid it. And Riho won her match tonight. Riho getting herself together, and we can tell right here Riho a lot of things going on. We'll see on how that's gonna go. But between Riho right here, Mercedes Monet tried to stop it, but she couldn't stop it. But Riho saw that Emery Saka tapped out the Riho with the sharpshooter as well. So like Mercedes Monet gonna have her work cut out for her. Well, speaking of that, MJF coming saying why he did what he did. MJF saying that he did it because he don't want Mark Briscoe to have nothing or not be the world champion. MJF said on his wedding night, which was a couple of days ago, saying that he did what he did because he felt like he told his newly wife Alicia that uh it had to go come between him and the title. I don't even know why she even married this lunatic, if knowing that he really don't care about her. He cares about becoming champion and saying pro wrestling is his mistress, is his real wife. I don't know. Maybe she's in love with MJF after he's being mean to her and stuff like that. That's her business. You don't know. But, maybe she needs to figure out if MJF what's going on with him. Well, FTR and Stokey was in the ring. You can tell right here, FTR and Stokey. We'll show you FTR and Stokey right quick. FTR and Stokey was in the ring dismissing Edge and Christian and saying the fans wouldn't do nothing about it. And the fans are the reason why they are who they are. FTR um bragging that they have went against nearly 59 teams and AEW nearly 60 teams. And now they're going to probably going against Edge and Christian, one of the legendary tag teams. Well, FTR wanted to take it down to another level, even getting in the face of some of these fans, trying to call these fans out. I don't know why they got so bold and brazen to do so. What they did, FTR, um, the situation at hand and stuff. Fans facing the Philadelphia 500 arena, normally known as the ECW arena. You see right here, getting in the faces of fans and trying to get bold and brazen. They even tried to attack the cameraman. You can tell right here. Let's show you right here. Just took their hands on the cameraman and just knocked him out, wheeled him out. FTR is getting out of control. They're gonna have to get some fines or some penalties going on with them. But FTR taking a little bit too far than what they did tonight. But FTR sending a message that they want to tear down Edge and Christian. But they had their chance and their opportunity coming up and all out. But speaking of a match that we never saw before, first time ever, Shelton Benjamin taking on Ricochet. These two men really fighting each other tonight. Well, beforehand, Ricochet, along with his group, the Gates of Agony, Kong and Taviona, said that Ricochet wants to have a gentleman's agreement, saying that it'd just be only Ricochet and Shelton Benjamin, no other entities, their parties wouldn't be involved. Well, that was a lie. As you can tell right here, the Gates of Agony tried to intervene and try to, as you see Shelton Benjamin taking down both Terrione and Kong. I don't know why Ricochet even tried to went through that moment. As you can tell right here, uh, you can see right here on what went down, and we saw it. And Ricochet got Shelton Benjamin angry. Ain't Shelton Benjamin Ricochet? I mean, Shelton Benjamin didn't even know what to think. Ricochet probably didn't know what to think. Ricochet probably looking like Shelton Benjamin out this world. I think Shelton Benjamin won his match with the help of the Hurt Syndicate. That's what I believe. What went down? Well, we see that Hook saying that he wants Samoa Joe to kick Powerhouse Hobbs out the group, but Powerhouse Hobbs, Samoa Joe said he's not gonna do so with Powerhouse Hobbs and stuff. You can tell right here that Ricochet. Before we go right here, this is Ricochet. It was a brawl, so we can tell right here before we get to Hook. It was a brawl, so it'll be a trios match. The Hurt Syndicate taking on the Gates of Agony and Ricochet one on one. Looking forward to seeing that match as well. So looking forward to seeing that as well. No contest. But before we get further, hand, we told you Hook. Hook calling out Samoa Joe, saying Samoa Joe needs to kick Powerhouse Hobbs out the group, but he don't see why Powerhouse Hobbs is still in the group. Ricochet said he's going to show Power. He's going to show them better than he can tell them. We don't know what Ricochet is going to do and what Ricochet got in the store. Only time will tell them that what Ricochet has to do. But, we're looking forward to seeing that what's going to go down with that. Well, we get to this one right here. Timeless Tony Storm, the AEW Women's World Champion. We show it right here. Taking on Sky Blue in a well-known Philadelphia street fight. It was street fight. It was. Beforehand, Timeless Tony Storm knighting ECW hardcore legend himself, the Sandman, being knighted by uh, Timeless Tony Storm. But Timeless Tony Storm was acting a little bit like the Sandman, a little bit, and acting like Tommy Dreamer right here, spitting out the water. She had more of the Sandman's personality in her and Dreamer's personality. I was thinking like she spitting out water like Tommy Dreamer, because I remember Dreamer and Sandman was tag team partners in ECW, and you can tell right here, Tony Storm channeling her inner hardcore is, and she did tonight. Tony Storm taking it to the limit tonight. Went a little bit bold and brazen, and she did. She pinned Sky Blue. She took Sky Blue and her took each other to the limit in these matches right here. And Sky Blue and Tony Storm, Sky Blue powerbomb and Tony Storm through a table full of rat mice traps. Did so. Tony Storm taking it like a champ. She did so tonight. And you can tell right here, Jamie Hayter came out of nowhere. Jamie Hayter clotheslining Tony Storm. You can see right here, Jamie Hamer clotheslining Jamie Storm, leaving Jamie Storm out to no avail, and did so tonight. Jamie Hayter showing what she's all about. Tony Storm, all of them, they're going to be really pissed and PO'd. I can tell that Jamie's Tekla, you can tell right here, this will be a fatal four way for the AEW Women's title. Tony Storm defends against Jamie Hayter, Christian Liar, and Tekla in a fatal four way. So we'll see that match coming forward as well. Well, we get to the main event of the evening. The main event of the evening was a huge 8-man tag team match And what an 8-man tag team match it was. Beforehand, the Young Bucks, they were being attended. The Bucks coming out with their government names: Matthew, Ron, John Macy, Nicholas Lee Macy, which is crazy. The Young Bucks trying to spew themselves on TV and stuff. But the Young Bucks, along with the Death Riders, won their match. Won the huge $500,000 match. And what a $500,000 match it was. And the Bucks won, smelling the money. But Bro Lee came out of nowhere. Bro Lee came out there and saw the money and tagged them both and left them both laying and stuff. Well, that wasn't the end. We saw this right here. What's his name? Daniel Garcia now has joined the Death Riders. We kind of see he was teasing it. Now it's official. He attacked Darby Allin, so Daniel Garcia now a member of the Death Riders, and Daniel Garcia um, spewing all that hate, all that energy, and Daniel Garcia now part of the Death Riders along with Moxley. Now Moxley welcomed him in, so we'll see how this is gonna go down eventually. So hey, we'll have to see in that. All right, that's gonna do it for the Pro Wrestling Show AEW Ring Report. Let's move over to wrestling. Move over to the Heat Check. I meant to say wrestling hot topics. The Heat Check right here. We're hearing reports that WWE is going to announce that WrestleMania next year. This is going to be WrestleMania 43 coming up. We'll be headed to Saudi Arabia. This will be the first time WrestleMania become international. And I guess WrestleMania will become international with Saudi Arabia in 2027. We know that Saudi Arabia will be home of next year's Royal Rumble in 2026. And this will set up the site for WrestleMania coming to Saudi Arabia, which is crazy. But I don't know if they're going to get a lot of outcry, backlash. We have to wait and see. But this will be the first time in a long time that WrestleMania in 2027, WrestleMania 43 will emanate in Saudi Arabia. We'll get the announcement when that does come available. I'm just telling you right now on how all this is turning out to be. Well, speaking of that, um, we're hearing that TKO, it's um, it's executive Mark Shapiro saying that they want to utilize WWE to be up there with UFC with the high prices and the high ticket prices. Mark Shapiro said something controversial, saying that Vince McMahon only thought about families and didn't think about the general scope of just charging a high price ticket. Now these days, I think TKO don't realize that hey, we're in a recession, and we don't know, we don't know people's pocketbooks or people's money and stuff. So I think he's why probably he's kind of out of touch and stuff because you gotta realize people got to eat too, and people got to what. I don't know why he even said that ignorant comment in his statement. It just shows that he's out of care and out of touch. So Shapiro, he's gonna be thinking that people gonna buy it for WWE, but really they're gonna be looking at their pockets saying, "Can I afford this? I can't afford it. I don't need to go." So it's gonna lead to that. So why he said that? Well, don't forget this Friday will be the predict the outcome special. It'll be during SmackDown. We'll have it probably before Worlds Collide. I don't know why they even wanted to do it on a Friday rather than a Saturday. I don't know why. It's crazy to me, but hey, to each his own. Worlds Collide is coming to Las Vegas, and they're gonna stack up the card to Libre for you can watch. So I guess you want to watch it. If you missed out on Friday, you can watch it on Saturday. That's what I think that's what they're trying to do. So don't forget we'll have predict the outcome this Friday for it, as well as the SmackDown Ring Report as well. So we'll have two pro wrestling shows as well as that morning, perhaps that morning, or perhaps that evening. Yeah, perhaps that morning. Yeah, be that morning because it's gonna be way too much. Hey, we'll see. Look forward to seeing that Worlds Collide coming your way this Friday with predicted outcome as well as the review as well. Well, also too right here, MJF AEW star. He's going to be he's been cashed officially in Violent Night. So MJF part of Violent Night. We'll see what MJF is going to do coming forward with that. Well, we're going to leave you with Daniel Garcia turning heel once again. Since the Jericho Appreciation Society, Dan Garcia now part of the Death Riders. We're just going to go with Dan Garcia and Mox. We'll see. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I've been your host, Kendrick Dixie, and so long. We'll see you Friday for the SmackDown Report as well as the Worlds Collide. Predict the outcome. We'll see you then.